Now, for people at home, and my wife's probably watching this at home, or she'll watch it later, and maybe I'm thinking of her, maybe there's some other people, they're thinking, okay, but I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where to start. I would guess for most people, they need to start with a high performance alter ego because, but how do people start?
So first, I mean, and again, alteregoeffect.com, or go to the book, go buy it anywhere. It's everywhere, the Audible as well. But I have the entire, that's the one thing that I'm so happy with that I did with the book. Malcolm Gladwell, I got to talk to him when I was writing the book as well, and he gave me some really great advice and encouraged me to continue to push through on this. I don't know about you, but I always get frustrated when people sell a book and they're constantly like, but if you want more details, go to my workshop or something like that. No, all the process is in the book.
Okay.
All of it is there. Like, I unpack everything for people. Naming it, naming the enemy and the shadow side as well, because as human beings, we have this, once we give form and name and substance something, all of a sudden it's not as scary. It's like horror movies. I kind of talk about it in the book. In a horror movie, when's the scariest part of the horror movie? Like the first half, when you don't know what the thing looks like, what's coming at you. All you hear is haunting sounds and creaks and cracks and things like that. But then all of a sudden when you can see it, you're like, oh, now I know how to beat that thing. Same thing in our own heads. And before I get to the whole what's the first step on this, I want to honor where this comes from. Like, I didn't invent alter egos. Alter egos are they're a part of our human psyche. Everyone's used them. Like I was saying before, as kids, we did this thing naturally. Right. So the great thing I say, every single one of you here already knows how to do this. You've forgotten its use because you're trying to act through the adult ego, okay? And it traps you. Because the creative imagination is our real superpower as human beings.
Yeah.
That's the cape that we get to wear, because that's the only thing that makes us different than everything else on the planet. We can tell stories and narratives, and the story and the narrative side of things is that secret link in this whole process here, which we'll walk through.
And people don't realize that enough. That's like one of the big things you say, that creative imagination is the thing we should focus on.
Yes.
Because that's what makes it different. That's how we can tell stories. That's how we put a man on the moon.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
That's how we've shared information and how to live through generations before pen and paper or the printing press was ever developed, was through stories, right? And that's how we connect with cultures. And the more that we share other people's stories with each other, the more we find connection points. You're like, oh, that person's story isn't that much different than my story, just because they look different, they sound different, or whatever. We're actually more the same.
That's what we do here.
Yeah.
Once you hear someone's story, you realize they're just a different version of you that went through a different journey.
Exactly. You see a lot of yourself in that person. So
this has been around for a while.
Long time, and Cicero was the person who named it, the greatest Roman statesman and philosopher to ever live. And in 44 BC, 2 years before he died, he was writing a letter to a friend. And it was basically his kind of philosophies and what he's really learned about life and working with people. And he talked about the need for an alter ego. And the alter ego's root means the other I, or trusted friend within, which is a really helpful concept for people to think through. Think about having the trusted friend within. That's what Geronimo was to me. Even though he was a composite, he was like a transformer coming together, he was the trusted friend within to help go out and help pull all the capabilities that were there out of me with more intensity, less concern about how I was going to look, because Geronimo wouldn't care. Walter Payton's not going to care. Ronnie Lott's not going to care. The 5 Native Americans aren't going to care. All of us together are going to go out there. They were my tribe that went out there with me. And that connectedness is so important, because the pathway to depression is loneliness. If you isolate yourself, isolation is the pathway to get into depression and feel alone. The alter ego is a great way to have the trusted friend within. I just noticed, and then through science seeing it, that really we need to have many trusted friends. The mistake is to have one alter ego. But we have many roles that we play. We have many fields to play. So I have the trusted friend that works for me really well when I'm at home, and then I have the trusted friend who helps me when I sit down to write. I've got the trusted friend who helps me go out on stage and connect with audiences in a different way. On a serious, again, I'm talking to people about a serious subject matter, themselves, mastering their own mental game, their own kind of identity. I'm challenging them sometimes with new paradigms that they're uncomfortable with because they're trapped in the concerns of being authentic or authenticity, which we'll get to in a little bit, I think, hopefully. And And then that other identity of making sure that I show up as a really good leader for my team, because that's a different role. That's a different need than me writing, right? Even that's why entrepreneurship is so difficult. There's so many roles, right? So that trusted friend within is so helpful, because you and I know, and you and I have experienced this, and we run in a lot of the same circles. We all know that if there is one pursuit that you can have in business that will always bear fruit and be the best investment you'll ever make, constantly up-leveling your relationships. Like Dan Pena has done with you and other mentors. The better the relationships that you have, the easier it is for you to overcome obstacles, because you're not doing it on your own. You can ping me, and you can ping me anytime. Say like, hey Todd, do you know someone that can help with this?
And this is what
I've got the perfect person.